Welcome to Educate, Inform, and Challenge. My name is Teresa MacLennan. I'm the Executive Director of the Women and Children Shelter of Barrie. The purpose of our show is to talk about the lives and experiences of women. We talk about, of course, violence against women, human trafficking, and we talk about gender equity, women in politics, and business. And we always want to try and create a platform and an avenue for women to talk about the great work that they're doing here in our community. Before we launch into talking to my wonderful friend and guest, we do want to acknowledge and thank our Indigenous community. We thank you for your culture, your history, your knowledge sharing. We thank you for allowing us to share and have these conversations in this space. So welcome to my dear friend, Sarah Taylor. Sarah, welcome. I'm so happy to talk with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So I'm looking forward to this.
I am too. And so I know that you wear a multitude of hats. And so I would really love to give you an opportunity just to let our community get to know you a little bit more and talk about all of the different facets of who you are.
Okay. Well, first off, I am me. I am a mom, but I'm also a proud business owner. I own Taylor Media Promotions, and I have a really great staff of. I have my administrative assistant, and I have my graphics department, so I'm pretty proud of them. Taylor Media Promotions has been around we just celebrated our 7th birthday, so I'm pretty excited about that. And with that, I've been elected to the Barrie Chamber of Commerce 3 times, and I am on my 3rd and final term. And with that, there comes a responsibility of, I have always chaired the Santa Claus parade. So it is now 7 years. This will be my 7th time chairing the parade. And because of COVID, we had to stay the board for one extra year. That's why there's 7 years instead of 6. With that as well, business, my business is part of BNI, so Business Networking International, and here in Barrie, my business belongs to the Barrie Business Leaders, and I have been part of them for almost 10 years now. It'll be 10 years this January. And because of that, I am also, I was asked to become an ambassador and then a director, and now I'm a launch director, so I'm helping them launch new chapters and helping connecting businesses within our community. So last year alone, our BNI had already, as a region, we did over $14 million past business. So that's incredible. And then on top of that, I am also, what too many people know, but I am also the community relations coordinator for MP John Brasaro. So what does that mean? So with John, when he's down in town, I go to different events for him. I help people with the case stuff. So anything to do with immigration and passports. I've been really busy with passports lately. And then on top of that, just being me and helping out our community, helping the Women and Children Shelter. And I have a special reason for that too. So yeah.
And I appreciate just your comfort in sharing with us all the multiple hats that you wear. And certainly I would just mention that our Women and Children Shelter is incredibly grateful to you for your years of support, your voice to the work that we do. And you are so much an advocate for other women to be successful. And so I really hope that our conversation today is going to encourage young girls and women who are listening today to think about their potential, to think about what could be, because I feel, Sarah, whenever I hear the long list of the things that you're involved in and the incredible life that you are continually crafting for yourself, that is an encouragement to me, and I want that to be an encouragement to others. So let's start at the beginning, because when you were a young girl, did you have dreams, hopes, goals? What did you think your future was going to include?
Honestly, growing up back then, it was, you're supposed to get married and have kids and be the family. But I was always I knew one day I'd have a family, but I always wanted to be the business person. I wanted to be I remember my mom saying to me when I was applying for college, but right after high school, like during high school, she was like, "Oh, well, why don't you apply for the secretary's course?" I'm like, "Oh, heck no, no, I'm going to have the secretary's, Mom." So I knew from a very long time that I was going to be doing something where I would be making a difference. So, I knew it was going to be in business. I've always known. It's just been being part of the community and connecting people and having fun and making people smile. That's been who I am.
So, at any time, was there a time in your life that you doubted your future?
Of course. Of
and
course.
Negative thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Well, as the viewers don't know, but I have no problem saying it. I am a survivor. I have been, if it wasn't for the shelter, they gave me the helping hand that I needed in my time of need. And it wasn't a handout, it was a helping hand. They gave me the support, the hugs. Oh my gosh, at that particular time in my life, the hugs that I received, they meant the world. And it gave me I call them my cheerleaders. So they always cheered me on. I remember being in our survivors group and talking, and I always said, I'm here I can see something bigger for me. I know there's something more for me. And they always, the shelter always cheered me on. My survivor sisters, they always cheered me on. They were encouraging, because I did have those doubts. I felt at that time in my life, honestly, I felt worthless. I felt so small. I felt insignificant. I felt like, I was at a point where I couldn't even provide for my family. And with my pride, that was huge for me. So not having I had that little thing in the back of my head that kept saying, "Oh, you're stupid, you're worthless, and I just like, shut up, go away. I can do this. And with the support of, the shelter, with my friends, and I was able to conquer the world. That's what it felt like. I was able to take on the world and go after my dreams and being able to do the things that I love to do. And so I did.
Does it ever pop back up for you again? Like, I'm just so appreciative of your sharing about your experience of violence and abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Does it ever pop up for you again, and you've got to check it and put it in its place?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I am human, and it does it rears its ugly little head every once in a while, and I describe it. I explain to people what my brain looks like. If you think of the big industrial sized building, and you make it like 10 times bigger, and then you put filing cabinets in it. In the very back of the room, there's that dark room, and that's where you're stupid, you're dumb, you don't know what you're doing. And I just tell it, shut up, close that door, don't lock it, don't come out. But it does, it comes back out, and we're all human. We all have insecurities, and we all look in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, getting old, all those thoughts come to you. But you just gotta put a smile on your face and take one step forward, and a whole bunch of those steps give you a giant leap.
And I really appreciate that sharing, Sarah, because I know there's women who are watching today who can, we all have those moments of feeling energized and being able to take on the world. And then especially if they've had an experience of violence, right? Those negative thoughts, we do carry those are trauma. And it's trauma that we carry in our memories, and trauma we even carry in our bodies.
Yes, we do.
And so I love that you are sharing that notion of being kind to ourselves and recognizing that we can still move through when we're triggered in our trauma or previous experiences that we've had, because I think your words are very, very encouraging. And it allows us to give ourselves permission to have those days when we recognize those negative thoughts and they're starting to impact us, right? And so, do you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you've asked me, the shelter's asked me to talk quite a few times, and I have no problem. I'm happy to do it, because if my story encourages another woman to take that step and take that leap, absolutely, I have no problem sharing my story, because I want to encourage somebody else to go. And I know I've gone to the shelter and I've talked to some of the women there, and I know how they feel, where they're at right now. And I would say to them, I was you 12 years ago, and life does get better, and you're doing all the right things. And I would encourage them. And I know I've had quite a few of them come up to me and afterwards, years later, they're like, yeah, you said that and it just made me do this. And I'm like, for me, that means the world, because I was able to affect somebody's life in a positive way and give them some hope.
And you are an inspiration to other women, because I think, again, those negative voices, the trauma, women may feel that they can't succeed, that there is no hope for them. And I think when women mentor other women, especially survivors, they build hope in all women to know that there is possibility and you can move through violence. And that's not to ever negate their experience of having it, because it's always going to be a part of their makeup. But how do you take that experience and you mold that and you shape that into something positive for yourself?
For me, it was what inspired me, not inspired me, but inflamed me to, I can do this. Okay, I've had that. All right, let's deal with it. Okay, we've got this problem. We've had this problem. Okay, let's move. How can we move forward? And I would just ask myself, how could I move forward on this? How can I make this better? And that's what I did. It just, I just knew in my heart and in here that I was to do more and not sit back and just let the world go by me. I had to take that leap. And the only way to do that was I had to get out and take action. And that's what I did.
It's words of wisdom. And so I think this might be a really good place for us to take our commercial break, because I want to dive back in and just learn from you and to be inspired by you, as I know our viewers will. I'd like to talk to you about maybe some of, you talked about your own internal, let's say, barriers, the negative talk, but any of the barriers that you might have experienced on your journey outside of you.
Okay.
And also how you navigate, let's say, working in a predominantly maybe male workforce, and how you find your voice and your place in that, and have become a leader in our community who is well respected. So we're going to talk about all those things when we come back. We encourage our viewers to stay with us. Sarah is an inspiring woman. She inspires me, and I know she will inspire you. So please stay with us, and we will be right back.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
When an impaired driver killed my brother DJ, some people used the A word. They called it an accident, but it wasn't. An accident implies that no one was at fault. But when someone impaired by alcohol and/or drugs chooses to drive, they're fully responsible for the crash that can result. So please, for the memory of my brother DJ and the thousands of families whose lives have been shattered by impaired drivers, let's drop the A word.
A crash caused by impaired driving is not an accident.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Welcome back to Educate, Inform, and Challenge. Having a great discussion with my friend Sarah Taylor of Taylor Media Promotions. And, we're kind of skirting all over the place in our conversation today. Sarah has shared with us her charitable work. She's talked about her business work. She's talked about her experience of violence. And the thread that runs through everything Sarah says is encouraging, inspiring to all of us, especially young girls and women. So we're going to dive right back in. So, Sarah, I know that you had a career that started in sales.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask you how that was for you in terms of, I'm going to suggest that was probably a male-dominated profession at that time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, it was.
How, at that time, what did you experience? Did you experience any kind of discrimination? And was it difficult for you to maneuver through and get ahead in that at that time in that profession?
Well, in my career, I've been in sales, so I've worked in retail. I was in timeshare sales. I was in, I've been in directory sales, with the big directory companies, and there was a lot of, because I was a girl, or a female, woman, whatever you want to call it, it was mainly a male-dominated world, and there was a lot of times when I was in, doing the advertising sales, and I go to clients, and there was a lot of sexual innuendos, a lot of chasing me around a desk every once in a while, and you had to be able to handle that, and you had to be able to, because back then it wasn't, you couldn't do any of this, so you dealt with it, and you had to do it with humor, with your personality, and they would dish it out, and you would just have to dish it back, and when you dish it back, it was like, whoa, okay, well, she's not going to put up with my crap, and I didn't. I let them have it, and I had one employer that actually didn't like working with females, and cut our commissions in half because we were women, and I was not having it, and I fought back and won. So, you have to do what's right. You'll know in your gut and in your chest and in your center what is right, and standing up for your own rights, and work hard. Just be you, be authentically you, and people will respect that. And it did. It worked.
That's wonderful words, how you've learned to navigate through that back then. And we know that there's women that still face that today, of course, in different environments. Happens more often than we want to even think about, right?
Yep.
And so talk to us about how you feel it's different now, different for you personally in your work environments that you're in.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I've proven myself. I don't know. My personality, people respect me. I guess because of, I think it has to do with my personality. I get along with everybody, and even the people that don't like me. I don't know if there's any people that don't like me, but I'm respectful to everybody, and what you give out, you get back. So if I'm going to respect somebody, they're going to say the same thing, right? They'll act the same way. So I treat everybody with respect, and I'm just friendly. That's the best I could say.
Yeah. So would you say that there's a shift in the workplace in particular?
Oh, yeah.
In the many environments that you're in, that there's been a shift in terms of really respecting the value and contributions that women make?
Oh, absolutely. I'm finding, even in our own community, like we had, we have Chief Greenwood, Chief of Police. We had Jan Scott from the hospital. We've had a lot of women leaders in our community, and you and myself, and I can give you a list of all the women that we have in our community that are leaders. And I think the shift is that has happened, that we're equal now. We're getting there. There's some things that have started to go backwards, but we're equal. And I find that the men in our community, maybe it's just us community because we have such a great community here, but I find the men in our community look at us as equals. Like, wow, she's got some skills. She's got the same skills as I do. Oh, she's got a voice and she uses it. So I believe that they respect that, and we're not afraid.
And I respect what you say. And what I also acknowledge is that what I like about you and I is that as mature, grown women, that we may be disagreeing on some things. I would not say that we've reached that equality yet. And I believe we have work to do. And also that there are some environments that women continue to face violence and harassment in the workplace.
Oh, yeah.
Discrimination, those things, right? What I think I can gather, and what I'm really happy about, is for yourself, what you've created and what you're experiencing now in terms of the network that you have around you, is that you feel like an equal to that. And that is what we want for all of us.
I do. I really do.
And I think that's partly because of who you are, like you say, your personality, what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
And then also that the people you've surrounded yourself with have that same thought
Mindset.
about equality. They have that same outlook, right? And so, which I think speaks to how do you put yourself in a position with the right people?
Honestly, it has to do with networking. It had to do with treating people right, being honest and authentic. That's what it has to do with. If you make a mistake, apologize, because nobody's perfect. I don't care who you are. Nobody's perfect. But just be authentically you. And people will respect that. And networking helps. Treating people with kindness and, being authentic. That's the best I can possibly say. And I say to my daughter all the time, how you treat people is how you're going to get it back. And my daughter's, she's a teenager and she's going through all of her stuff. But what you put out there, it comes back tenfold. It really does. And treating people with kindness and with respect and just treat them how you want to be treated, you get it back. You really do.
And I think you just exude that brightness that people are attracted to and want to be with you and to know you. And so, and I think it's just really wonderful when we think about our daughters and the young women in our lives, about how we as women of a certain vintage, how we encourage,
we're like a fine wine.
You got it. How we encourage and support young women to expect greatness of themselves.
I think that's what it comes down to is respecting greatness of them. I can't live my daughter's lives. However, I hope to inspire them that they can achieve whatever they want. And, I have 3 daughters of my own plus 2 stepdaughters. And, I hope that my only hope is that they, one day when I'm not here, they look back on their mom and they go, wow, my mom was pretty cool.
We all hope for that as they mature and see what's real in life, right? Like they see the struggle and they recognize as women that we're all in that place of struggling to just make the best life possible. So I know we are getting close to limited time, but I want to talk about the charitable work that you do really, really quickly, because you are an incredible support for our agency. But I know that there's other causes and things that are very, very near and dear to you. Can you just speak quickly about that, Sarah?
I sure can. So, of course, I support the Women and Children Shelter. And one of the, it's a big heart. I love doing whatever I possibly can for the shelter and giving back. But I also, I like to support the Barrie Food Bank. So I'm there for that. I also like to help out Rainbows for All Children Canada. So I'm a big supporter of that. But because it's not just because I'm Mrs. Claus, that's what I've been called now, it's Mrs. Claus, which I take that very, very thankfully. I'm very humbled by that. But I also help out with Christmas cheer. And every year I'm there. I'm usually at the front desk and I'm helping them, and I'll do Facebook Lives and getting people to bring in donations. But yeah, giving back to our community. If you don't give back, you're not helping somebody else. So I've been very blessed with the way my life is going. And if I could give somebody else that helping hand that was, given to me, what comes around goes around. So to me, it's important. And I try to instill that in my kids as well. So, my kids, I drag them with me, make them go. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't, but they're getting it. And that's, for me, is I want them to have that foundation of how important it is to give back to our community.
I don't know. I never know where you find the energy and the drive to do all the things that you do. And you are a very visible woman in the community. Mm-hmm. And I think that people, when they're watching our interview today, that they're going to recognize you and go, hey, that's that woman that I see at the flag raising for this. That's the woman that I see, with the Santa Claus parade. That's that woman that I see, who's coming to speak on behalf of John Broussard. Mm-hmm. And so I just really hope that our community has enjoyed getting to know you. but also to be inspired by you. And so I want to give you the last word, Sarah. If there's young women watching today, you know what? Sometimes they feel like they have no hope. They feel like they can't be involved. They feel like
Yes,
life is just getting them down.
So the first thing you got
speak to them.
So the first thing I would say to them is, number one, the same thing that my high school principal said to us the first day of grade 9. When I started high school, we actually started my high school, so we were a senior all the way along. And I remember Mr. Hallcroft, the very first day he gets up on the stage, he looks at us and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first day of your high school career. Your 4 years are going to go by like that." Which that was. But he says, when you look back on your high school career, I want you to think of, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but did you? So get involved, make those memories, be part of the different groups and the different clubs that are happening. So it's the same thing here in the community. Get involved. You will feel so much more better when you're part of the community and you're part of being part of something and being able to talk to people. Pick up a phone, call your friend, text your friends, talk to them. And if that's not working, talk to somebody else. Heck, call me. I have a good ear. I listen a lot. And I've been trained by the shelter to give really good hugs. So if you need a hug, I'll do that. I was actually at a flag raising today and we did that. I've seen somebody that I've known. So hugs are so important.
Hugs are important. And so we just appreciate you so much. And I'm just so glad that our community just gets to know so much more about you. And I know you're so well connected and I know people know you, but you know what? There's folks who don't. And Sarah Taylor is someone that you should know. Sarah Taylor is someone that you should allow her words to permeate your thinking and your heart, and know that possibilities are endless, and you create them and you look for them and you surround yourself with the right people, and you can move through adversities that have happened in your life. And
you can achieve whatever your mind, if you put your mind to it, you can achieve whatever you want. So go for all your dreams.
You got it. And so I think that there's nothing left to say. I think that that's a great final word from Sarah. So Sarah, thank you so much for just talking with me today. I appreciate you always so much. Thank you for just being inspiring to myself, our community, our agency. We hope our viewers have enjoyed our conversation today. We hope that this has provided you with an education. It's informed you and it's challenged your thinking. And so go out into the world, do great things, take a leaf out of, Sarah's page and think about how you would like your life to look, because she is a model of building a great life. And so we thank our viewers. We look forward to our next conversations. Take care.